Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Morning.
Just a few chapters back, we had a chapter dealing with our Android and Apple phones and our apps, and it got me thinking, how did this app came to be on my phone that could tell me to get from point A to point B? So I started looking back. I had to keep going back, and everybody, this is a map. How many people can take a map, read it from point A to get you point B? More than I thought. I became lazy. Could I? I don't know. But our first actual map is here, and it goes back to 7 to 500 BC, and the Greeks actually were the first one to think the earth was a cylinder. I went, wow, carving that out to make a map, that took some time. But let's go on. This ain't where we're at. We're in the 20th century. This would be me. Looking at a map, which way do I go? How did I get here? But now, in 1973, the United States military took and deployed 24 satellites in orbit to take and get us where we are in maps. In the 80s, the military decided to let it go to the public side for the civilians to use. So now we got Garmin came on in 1989 with a little GPS unit. Does anybody have any idea how much this little gizmo costs to go in your windshield to take you to get to point A to point B?
A couple thousand. Between $100 and $300. A couple thousand.
Anybody else?
A couple thousand.
$2,500 back in the 80s. Pretty hefty chunk of money. Then TomTom came out in 91. Anybody got a guess on this one?
1,500.
They decided to go a little bit cheaper. It was roughly about 650 bucks. Still quite a bit of money, but how did they get you? You buy it, you go home, you plug it up, set it up, put it in your car, and you're running. 2 years down the road, what happens?
Subscription runs out.
Well, you don't buy a prescription. You buy it, you go home, it's your puppy. It's the updates that got you. You had to keep updating. How many times does the streets around Knoxville change?
A lot.
Yeah. So their updates were quite hefty amount. I could not get a fixed amount on that one. So now we had MapQuest that came into our on the scene, and man alive, I had no idea what this one webpage on the www is. But man, you're searching where you wanted to go on vacation. Oh, man alive. I want to go see where Neyland Stadium is. I'm in Knoxville, I'm at my motel, so I'm going to put in where I'm at now. We put in our where we want it, where we're starting, where we're going to end. Got our map of Knoxville. Over here is where we're at now. It gives us two options, actually three on this one. We can go around through here. It gives us how much gas, the miles, and in this it tells you how much traffic congestions there is on your routes. So we can't take this with us, so you can go down here. Gives you turn by turn that you can take. Man, this would be great if you've got a sidekick that can read to tell you your turns coming up. If you don't have that person sitting next to you to tell you what you're reading, and you're trying to read and drive, and that's one thing I hate, being on the interstate, and you seeing somebody reading as they're driving. Not too safe. But the people with TomTom, Garmin, and MapQuest were geniuses. Does anybody know who TomTom shook hands with to make a partnership? How many Apple phone lovers we've got in here? Shook hands with Apple. Made a very big, hefty, genius idea, taking what they're selling to put it on the phones. MapQuest, to this day, I never thought it would stay around as long as it has, but it partnershiped up with hotels, restaurants, anything in that area to put it on there. Their maps, so when you're in that area, you know what restaurants is around it, what other hotels. Now, everything is to your flavor. I like Google Maps. They stay updated, but there is so many out there, so it depends on the user end of which one you want to use and how to use it. They have taken the idea of telling you what areas is highly congested, traffic. Used to, they would take the reports from month back to generate what the traffic in a certain area would be. So now we've got smartphones, smart cars, so they take these reports back and they can tell you what's happening that day. Is the traffic slowing down on 40 at 9:30 in the morning? Why? So when you're coming out from Asheville into Knoxville, do you need to take 640 because 40's backed up? So this gives you an alternate avenue to take while you're on your trip. Now, how do they update the streets? We have little cars with satellites on them. There is TomTom. Here is Google car that drives around. And a little fun fact, in my research, Google has now taken a tricycle and mounted everything on it in third world countries that vehicles can't actually take, can bicycle and route these roads. I have one video left.
Now, it used to be that if you were sitting in your car and needed a traffic update, you'd turn on the radio and sometime in the next 10 minutes, someone in a helicopter somewhere would dutifully inform you of the 10-mile traffic backup due to an overturned maple syrup tanker. These days, though, you can get much more extensive, not to mention live traffic information for over 90 countries on Google Maps. Just tap the traffic icon and the roads you're looking at become color-coded to indicate relative traffic congestion levels. But how does Google pull this off? Does Larry Page truly see and know all thanks to his huge fleet of helicopters, satellites, or drones? Well, no. You see, Google Traffic started out using historical traffic data, which would project how busy a particular road would be based on past trends like day of the week, time of day, and even month of the year. For example, you could be reasonably certain that the 101 in Los Angeles at 5 p.m. on a weekday would be busier than Route 912 west of Bennettsville, South Carolina at 2 in the morning, or, well, ever. But obviously, that was an imperfect solution because it couldn't inform drivers of real-time conditions, like if a normally free-flowing road was suddenly blocked by a traffic accident, road construction, or a flock of Canada geese. Fast forward a bit to when everyone and their mother started buying shiny new location-aware smartphones, and the game totally changed. In 2007, Google decided, well, hey, why not just see how many phones are on the road and use that to estimate how much traffic is on it. Today, though, Google Traffic actually uses a combination of GPS tracking and measuring the signal delay between each smartphone and nearby cell phone towers to figure out where your car is. The latter method was originally developed to allow cell carriers to know what service area you were in so they could charge you for roaming.
That concludes my presentation. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you